Okay, right, to coin an old phrase, third time lucky. The first time I filmed this, I filmed it, everything went great. Then I was on my camera, or on my phone if I should I say, clearing out some old videos to make some space, and managed to delete the one that I just made. Then, literally a few minutes ago, I started doing another one, and some telecaller decided to phone me, which was good of them. So the phone was going while it's filming, which you don't need to see. So here we go. Here's the third time. Right, what we're going to do in this stage, we put these suspension arms on, if you remember, and we were now going to fit these arms D1 and D2, there's one each side. Obviously I fitted them for you, and now I've already fitted them. So what I would recommend is, when you fit these, sand a tiny bit off the end of each arm, because it's got like a triangular bracket that it goes in on, and the bracket is slightly too long. So if you just take the corner off, it'll clip in there lovely. So that's what I did there. All that weight and everything I did is paid off. If I can just show you here, if you remember, I put lots of weight on to support the suspension. That's come out really, really nice, and you can see that everything is dead level, dead flat, dead straight. So really, really nice. The other thing I forgot to mention, I put some Mr. Servicer on the tracks, on the exhaust silencers, to give them a bit of a rough finish for the rust that's going to be going on them. That's what I do. I use Mr. Surfacer and just stipple it with a brush. The other way to do it is to use like a lacquer thinner, cellulose thinner, paint that on, and then just stipple it with an old brush, and it just gives you a slightly rough finish to represent the rust that you get there. So that's that. So now we need to look at the tracks. So you can see in the tracks, they're made up of two pieces. We've got the actual part here that goes onto the driving part that goes onto the sprocket and guides, and then we've got the actual track pad there. So I've done this, I've split all these parts off, the sprues, and cleaned them all up. There's quite a bit of cleanup involved on these. So the way they go on the inside here, and then with the narrow end pointing, you can see one end's hooked up and one end's sort of flat. So with the narrow end going towards the flat, they fit on that way round. But the problem with that is, if I could just show you with tweezers, if I grab hold of this, you can see that there's quite a bit of play in there. So I thought, well, I don't want to end up with my tracks all being like this, the track pads, so I've made a jig. So if I just show you how this works, we'll take 5 track pads. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now you can count to 5. I've taught you how. So we've got those in there now, and they're all straight. They can't go like this. They're all sort of wedged in between these two walls. So I now need 5 of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll simply clip these together. These, compared to those Amusing Hobby track links, are bloody lovely. Ugh. Oh, and I just want to say, not on this build, but on other subjects I've had a couple of negative comments, and just want to say thanks for your negative comments. They're great. But what I would say to people is, if you're going to write negative comments, perhaps watch the whole video, because you make a negative comment and then you're actually picking up on something that I pick up on later on in the video that proves to makes your statement absolutely worthless. So I'm not against negativity. If I do or say something wrong, that's fine, tell me. But please don't pick me up on something that I later point out in my video as being doing wrong when I tell you that this is the way I've done it. So right, so that's gone in there now. So they're in like that. They're sat in there. So all I've got to do is just, don't need to hold it down or anything, take my Tamiya extra thin. I'm using the quick setting one here. so that I can get this off the jig quickly and show you guys that it works. As I say, this is the third time I've done this, so I've got a couple of samples to show you already. So I'm just putting a drop of glue in each one of those. There we go. And I may have put a little bit too much on that last time. What we don't want to do is get the glue capillarying up into the pivoting portions. So that's glued up. That glue stinks, and that can sit in there. Let's just give it a quick press down. Oops. Give it a quick press down like that. Okay, and then you can take them out, and there we go. We've got pivoting tracks, and they're lovely. So I'll get those back in the jig there. I'll just show you, here's some I did earlier, and as you can see, they're lovely and straight. Even if they do wander like that, that's fine. What you haven't got is this. That's what I don't want. If you remember when I did my Tackle Mark IV, I did the jig for that as well, and that got around the same issue. So yeah, these are actually Caterpillar tracks. They're very similar to the Meng D9R tracks, but smaller. Apparently Germany made these under license from Caterpillar, or copied them from Caterpillar or something. So there we go, that's how I've done them, and that's that. It's that simple. All this is a piece of plastic card with 2 bits of plastic strip. All I've done is glued a piece of plastic strip parallel on one side, chucked a couple of those in like that, like so, and then put another piece of plastic strip against them, touch it with a couple of bits of tabby extra thin, job done. These bits here are just to level it out so that when it's turned over I can use the other side. This side, as it happens, is the same width, so that'll go in there. And then this one, I did the D9R tracks, and if you've ever done the main D9R, you'll know that building the tracks is quite difficult. What I did with them was I built up the two, you've got these bits here. It's easy to show you these bits here on the Meng are in 2 halves, and then they're quite fiddly. So what I did was made up a jig, put the 2 halves together in like that, in like this, placed them all in there, and then glued the track pads on while they were held in there. And if you've done the kit, you'll know what I mean. If you haven't done the kit yet, do this. This is basically what are they? They are 7.7 mil apart. 7.8 millimeters apart. 1 mil square plastic strip. 1.5 mil is that? That's 1.5, isn't it? Yeah. So 2 pieces of 1.5 mil plastic square strip, and a 8 mils or 7.8 millimeters apart, glued to a piece of plastic sheet, and then you can place your D9R track parts like those in there, build them along, and then glue the pads on top. That's the way to build them. So I did the kit before I was doing YouTube videos, unfortunately, so I can't show you it. So there we go. So that's how they go. All right, so I'll get on and finish this off, and I'm going to call that a day for this part because I want to keep these videos short. And the other thing I'm going to do is, before I come back, I'm going to get some paint on all these suspension parts before we put the floor on, because once the floor goes on, it'll be easy enough to feed the tracks through, but once that's on like that, if you like, once the floor is on like this, I won't be able to get paint down in there, and I dread being able to see this tan plastic when it's under lights or anything. So I'll get the paint on there, and then I'll come back with part 6, and we'll fit up the floor, and we'll start on the driver's compartment area. All right, so yeah, thanks for watching this. Please try this at home. It's a great way of doing tracks. If you get your head around it, it works for all sorts of tracks. And if you're doing Dragon Magic tracks, you can do this, and all you have to do is get some tin foil, or some of that, you can get that aluminium tape, and tape that on there just to keep the glue away from the plastic, and then you won't get the plastic parts glue into the jig. Obviously, if I got glue on the jig, when I'm doing this, I've got a serious problem. I've used way too much glue. Like that, way too much glue. Alright, so here's the proof that this is my third attempt at this video. There we go. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.